Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to look at the different uses of the past simple and the past continuous in Greek. Now, this video is a bit is addressed to more advanced people than the videos I usually make. I would say it's probably for people who are B2. The reason is that to really be able to apply what I'm going to say, you need a good grasp of the tenses. You cannot start from here, let's put it this way. However, if somebody wants to just to watch this to get a general understanding of how these two tenses are used in Greek, it can also be useful. So let's have a look at this. In Greek, there is a distinction that often by people who study grammar is called perfective and imperfective. The past continuous will be imperfective. You have in French the word imparfait. I believe in Italian also this tense, the past continuous, is called imperfetto. But usually this distinction is prominent in Greek and Slavic languages. So we have a contrast not only in the past but also in the future between a single event, that is where we are interested mostly in the completion of an action. This in English would be expressed with the past continuous, like I went, we had the dinner, I walked in the park, etc. Which means that I did something, and that's what we care about here. I completed this task, and then we have the past continuous, which would be used. Now, we need to be a bit careful here because in Greek, this past continuous can be used for two different things. For talking about the length of an action or of talking about a longer action, which is also what happens in English, like the phone rang while I was sleeping. While I was sleeping here indicates this is the longer action interrupted by a shorter one. However, that's the important thing where Greek differs from English. In this past continuous, we might also talk about repetition, a repeated action, which is usually in English is expressed with I used to. So let me just recap this because maybe what I said about perfective and imperfective might have confused you. If this is the case, just leave this aside. This is just some linguistic nomenclature. You can look it up on Wikipedia. What is this perfective, imperfective? The real substance of the thing here is that in Greek we use the past simple to talk about a single event where what interests us is the completion of an action. For instance, a very good example of that would be a list of things, like what did you do yesterday? And the person might answer this question by saying, I went to the cinema, I worked, I spoke with my children, I had a drink, I had lunch with Mary, whatever. So it's a list of things I did. And the thing here that matters is that I completed these things. We don't really care how long it took, etc. And when we have the past continuous, this can really be used for two different things. And that's important to understand, as I said before, for English speakers, because in English it's a bit different. It's either an action where the duration is important, or for repetition, for something that happens again and again. Now let's look at some very simple basic examples. Χτες διάβασα το βιβλίο. This usually conveys that I finished this task, right? It means that the part I had to read is read. I finished reading the book. It's over. For instance, I have to prepare for an exam, or I have to return a book to a friend. So I tell him, διάβασα το βιβλίο, therefore you can take it back. That's the implication here. It's important to understand what would be the suggestion of using such a tense here, the past simple. Okay, διάβασα is the past simple. διάβασα το βιβλίο would mean I'm done with it. It might also be part of a list of events, right? What did you do yesterday? διάβασε το βιβλίο, etc. In which case we don't really know if it's finished or not. But if you use it in this way, like you approach a friend who lent you a book and you say, διάβασε το βιβλίο, it means you're ready to return it. Now, if I say διάβασε το βιβλίο, it's a quite different phrase. This means I spent some time with the book, and we don't know if I have finished what I had to do with it or not. And sometimes I might use this in the sense that this action I'm talking about in the past continuous is blocked something else. So somebody might tell you, πήγε σινεμά χτες? So, did you go to the cinema? And then I want to say that the reason I didn't go to the cinema was because I was reading the book. So I would say, όχι, δεν πήγα σινεμά γιατί διάβασα το βιβλίο. Ή διάβασα το βιβλίο. I don't even have to use γιατί here. Most Greek speakers, Greek native speakers will understand this just by the use of the tense. Δεν πήγα σινεμά, διάβασα το βιβλίο. It means my action of reading the book sort of blocked or stopped me from going to the cinema. Now, two other phrases on this. Μαγείρεψε το πρωί. So, if your wife comes home or your husband comes home and you say μαγείρεψα, it means food is ready. There is food. Okay? It would be really weird if, your husband comes home and you say μαγείρεψα and then there is no food ready, right? And you say, oh yes, I started cooking but I didn't finish. You cannot use it this way. If you say μαγείρεψα, then it means there is food ready to be eaten. Yeah. If I say μαγείρευα, on the other hand, we don't know if it's ready or not. Again, the difference here between the past continuous μαγείρευα and the past simple μαγείρεψα would be the result. In the case of μαγείρευα, the past continuous, the result is not really important. The important thing is that I spent some time doing this. So again, it might have blocked me from doing something else. So I can say, δεν πήγα σούπερ μάρκετ γιατί μαγείρευα το πρωί. Yeah. I didn't go to the supermarket because I was cooking. Or it might be I just want to say, I spent a lot of time cooking. Όλο το πρωί μαγείρευα. Now, let's have some more examples with the past continuous in particular, because as I said before, there is ambiguity between repetition and duration. First, repetition. Όταν ήμουν παιδί, πήγαινα κάθε μέρα στη θάλασσα. Now, I have κάθε μέρα here, which on its own indicates that there is a repetition every day, each day. And therefore, it would be a mistake here. Notice that, okay? It would be a mistake to say, όταν ήμουν παιδί, πήγα κάθε μέρα στη θάλασσα. This phrase doesn't make sense in Greek. Since there is repetition, I have to use πήγαινα. And in English, I won't translate this as I used to go. It's much more natural. And that's actually that we Greek speakers often make this mistake when we speak in English. We might say something like, when I was a kid, I was going every day to the sea. Because that's how we say it in Greek. Another example, το καλοκαίρι έτρωγα παγωτό κάθε Παρασκευή. Again, the word κάθε indicates repetition. I used to eat ice cream every day in the summer. Now, if we're talking about duration, very often the idea of duration, as I said before, is that it blocks another action. It took so long, this one action took so long that it didn't let me do something else. So, δούλευα όλο το πρωί και δεν είχα χρόνο να μαγειρέψω. Or it could be something you also have by the way, in Romance languages with the past continuous, that a longer action is interrupted by a shorter one. Το τηλέφωνο χτύπησε ενώ κοιμόμουν. Η Μαρία με φώναξε ενώ μαγείρευα όλη την ώρα που μαγείρευα. A last thing I would like to close with this one here. Sometimes in Greek it doesn't make much difference in meaning which one I use. It might have some different ones. So if we look at this example, ο Τάκης μίλησε για 5 λεπτά, ο Τάκης μιλούσε για 5 λεπτά. Some people might feel the second example, μιλούσε, the past continuous, emphasize a bit more that he took longer than he should or something like that. From my own perspective, the meaning is really similar. Now, it's important to say here that some people from, let's say, Spanish or other language might be confused here, because in Spanish, you would be obliged, you have to use the past simple. If you give a specific duration, in some languages, you have to use the past simple. In Greek, however, if you give a specific duration, you are free to use either the past simple or the past continuous. A last example, είδα τηλεόραση για μια ώρα, έβλεπα τηλεόραση για μια ώρα. Both are perfectly fine. So, thanks for watching. I hope this helped and see you soon.